Welcome to Real Talk with Coach Sherri. This podcast is for everyone who craves self improvement and awareness. I am most excited to connect with the 50 and over crew because we are vintage and made up of complex experiences that has aged us like fine wine, which increases our value each and every day. Now, there's always room to learn and grow, so I want you to get your pen and paper ready to take notes and reflect on today's wisdom that's going to be dropped. Cheers to real talk and seasoned dialogue. Join the conversation in the comments section. I'd love to connect with you there. This episode is about finding your focus by harnessing distractions for productivity. In our previous discussion, we explored the impact of distractions and strategies to overcome them. Now, let's delve deeper into how we can effectively manage distractions to boost focus, productivity, and creativity. Now, you may be thinking, Coach Sherri, how are we going to use our distractions? Like, how are we going to flip that and turn it into favor for us? And that's why you're here, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. Again, I hope you have your notes together or your pen and paper to take your notes because we're going to share some great information. So, there's a dual nature of distractions because distractions are not inherently negative. We look at distractions as being negative because it's pulling us away from the matter at hand. We lose focus. We are easily distracted by bright shining objects that fly by. We forget what we were just saying, what we were just doing, what's most important. Or, we get so distracted, it paralyzes us and we just cannot move forward. And so we look at all of those as negatives, and they can be if it's doing all those things, but there is a way to flip it in your favor because when managed properly, they can become valuable tools in a balanced life. And the key is to transform potential distractions into supportive elements rather than obstacles to productivity. So, here are some strategies for effective distraction management. And that's what we're going to call this distraction management. So, on your paper, I want you to put down number one, and that's you want to use distractions as reward. So, creating a system where distractions become motivators. For example, allow yourself like 15 minutes on social media for every hour of focused work completed. Now, I'm trying to tell you, even though TikTok has all these shorts, you think, oh, I'm just going to watch a couple of videos real quick, just flip through them. You look up, it's 2 hours later. So if you're going to do something like this and be intentional with it, set a timer and adhere to that. When that timer goes off, it is a wrap. Shut that down and go back to the matter at hand. But give yourself that grace and 15 minutes. Number two, you want to incorporate distractions to re energize. So use short breaks to prevent burnout and maintain objectivity. Schedule dance breaks during long writing sessions or do a quick exercise to refresh your mind and body. I've been doing here lately sit squats. I don't know if you're familiar with them. It's when you really sit into the squat. It's not an up and down squat. It's a sit into it and hold. Your heels have to be on the ground and you're sitting down as if you're in Asia or Africa, where in many cultures there, that's still how they sit. They may eat their food, read, communicate with each other, and they're in that squatted position. That squatted position is very healthy and beneficial, especially if you are a person of a certain age. It helps to open up your body, and it also helps with breathing and opening up your lungs and your lower back. If you are experiencing lower back pain, that's a great exercise to consider. It doesn't require any weights or any extra, materials or anything. You can do it wearing anything as long as you can bend. So if you have on maybe some skinny jeans, you may find it a little challenging. However, it is definitely something that's beneficial and can help with your distractions. Number three is alternate between projects. Having multiple projects can help you stay productive when you're stuck on one task. This approach, ooh, let me get a sip of water. This approach allows you to make progress across various areas without falling into unproductive distractions. Sometimes people get so caught up in one project and they find themselves running around in a circle trying to figure one thing out. And many times, if you can step away and maybe work on a totally different project, your creative juices can be rejuvenated. Some people are not able to do that. They get just so laser focused. And that can be very not only distracting for that person, but for other people who may be working with them. Because 9 times out of 10, other people are able to multitask and have different projects. And if you're the only one that can't, then you're always going to your team or the people that you're collaborating with, asking them questions on just that one project, and it makes them pause from what they're doing. So really try to alternate between projects. And by doing that, you would time block. If you're not already time blocking on your calendar, I highly recommend that you do so. And time blocking would require you to understand what things you're going to work on within that project on that particular day. How much time is it going to take? Is it going to take 2 hours, 3 hours? Either way, you want a time block for each of the projects that you're working on. Number four is you want to leverage distractions for creativity. Use your downtime to refill your creative banks. Engage in activities you enjoy, such as reading. Reading is coming back. Reading is making a comeback. I am so happy to see so many reading groups popping up, and play mind challenging games or pursue a new hobby. They're saying that hobbies are so important and beneficial. It gives you an opportunity to learn something new, to master that, and do something with it. Sometimes hobbies turn into small businesses that grow into bigger businesses. So if you don't already have a hobby, I want you to look into something that you would find interesting to learn. If you do have a hobby, let me know in the comment section, what is it? Number five, you want to integrate distractions into your work. So you want to find ways to incorporate enjoyable activities into your work routine. For instance, if you love dancing, turn up the music while, you're cleaning the house, or even when you're in your office. I love music. I play music when I work throughout the day all the time. And it varies. Sometimes I play gospel music. Sometimes I play classical. Sometimes it's R&B, it's go-go. Usually on Fridays, I love to play go-go music all day. So whatever it is, incorporate that into your daily routine. Now, maintaining balance. Some people are on the fence about balance. Someone, even this evening at an event that I attended, was saying there is no such thing as work-life balance, because balance means there's equal weight on both ends. And we all know that when you are trying to live, work, family, enjoyment, whatever, ultimately there's going to be one or two things that have more on it and less. So there is not that balance. But you can have a sense of balance by understanding what are those distractors and utilizing them to your advantage. So while using distractions productively, it is crucial to do these three things. And the first is you want to manage potentially distracting activities to support rather than hinder your projects. Number two, you want to learn to let go of these activities when they're not appropriate. And three, regularly assess the return on investment of these activities. So that's going to entail self-awareness and intention. You have to understand yourself and what really were those barriers? What were those things that were coming up and distracting you? And how are you handling it? It's so crucial to understand how those distractions are dealing with or impacting your productivity. And of course, I always want to incorporate action steps in any of my podcasts, my lessons. I want you to walk away with some action steps. So here are some action steps that you can use moving forward. Again, I hope you have your pen and paper. So the first one is you want to identify which of these strategies resonates with you most. Number two, brainstorm ways to implement these ideas in your daily routine. Three, develop your own ideas for turning potential distractions into useful activities. Number four, I want you to reflect on how mastering distraction management can transform you from creating focus to embodying focus. Okay? We want you to not only create it, but embody it. When people know that if you're giving a task, a project, or if you're part of a team and they know, oh, you're gonna be that one that's gonna keep it together, how that you're going to be focused. And it's not because you're only doing that project, it's because you know how to have that balance and your distraction management is on point. And the last is learn to distinguish between effective distraction management and using it as an avoidance tactic. Okay? So remember, the goal is to create a balanced life where distractions serve you rather than control you. By implementing these strategies, you can harness the power of distractions to enhance your productivity and creativity. So I want you to stay tuned for our next session because I will be discussing with you on how to rebuild your focus by prioritizing and doing what's most important. And I know a lot of times when it comes to time management, you know, figuring out what's most important, is it checking that email? Is it working on this project over that project? How do you prioritize that? And we're going to discuss that. As you let all of this new information marinate, this way of thinking about, distraction management and focus, I want you to leave me a comment with a nugget or two that you're taking away from this session. I love having seasoned dialogue with you. In closing, I must say, please practice every day. Practice so hard that when you get in, you will always play to win. It has been my pleasure sharing this information with you, and I look forward to our next session. I am Coach Sherri.